So we now want to go back to conversations and discussions and coverage with regard to the Devolution conference. And now I want to bring in my colleague, Abby Aginna, who's joining us from Kakamega. Abby, good morning. Talk to us about what is it that we're expecting today as day one of the Devolution conference. What exactly is happening right now? Who have you seen who's already arrived for this conference? Of course, apart from the delegates, over 6,000 of them, I suppose.
Well, many thanks, Betty. Well, today, basically, the Devolution conference will be having a lot about the arrival and registration of the delegates. Later on in the afternoon, we expect a football match between various governors as well as cabinet secretaries. But the thrust of the matter in this particular Devolution conference is basically to scale up innovation as well as make service delivery work at the county level. From what we know so far, the Devolution Cabinet Secretary, Eugene Wamalwa, is already here in Kakamega. We also understand that the governor for Tharaka Nithi, that is Mudomi Njuki, is also here in the county. And we expect to see more governors streaming in, as well as various counties that will be represented in this particular Devolution conference. President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to open the conference tomorrow, and of course it will be a high-level kind of meeting, Betty.
All right, let's also just talk about the agenda this time round. Of course, we've had quite a number of issues to do with the cash crisis in the counties. What are we expecting to hear from the leaders with regard to what they have been able to do for the last 5 years?
Well, that's a very important question, Betty. Devolution has faced a number of challenges when it comes to adequate funding for different counties. And remember the clarion call last year, but one with the governor for Bomet, that is Isaac Ruto, who was behind the Pesa Mashinani campaign. And we've seen counties have been having a cash crunch, some actually being unable to pay even salaries, others being unable to seal the projects that they are working on. So this will form a very critical point of discussion in this particular conference, where governors will be demanding to know from the National Treasury and, of course, to just get President Uhuru Kenyatta's commitment around supporting devolution. As we speak right now, Betty, counties in total are getting just over 350 billion shillings that is split among the 47 counties. So the matters around funding will be critical, and also counties will be challenged to try and improve on revenue-raising measures so that they do not solely rely on the national government for funding. But that will be an area, of course, Betty, will be monitoring and just keeping our viewers up to date on some of the key discussions that will be emerging out of this particular conference, Betty.
Right, Abby, and just talking about those strategies and the conversations that will be happening there, this is the 5th time that we're having these conferences. Many Kenyans really questioning whether anything that is discussed there actually has a serious impact on how the governors conduct their work, after the conference. How can we say, or what can you tell us about the impact of such a conference? Is it just because there has to be a conference and, people have to attend? Or, are we likely to see that the strategies, like you mentioned, the ideas that are channeled there actually come to fruition?
Well, Betty, this has been a very critical point of reflection, because after every devolution conference, ideally the Council of Governors is actually supposed to sit and take stock of the successes that have come out of the devolution conference. And looking at the program for this particular devolution conference, there's actually a section where the various speakers led by the president will actually be taking a recap of some of the issues that came up in the 4th devolution conference, and they'll be actually holding the Council of Governors to account to say why did they not achieve specific items that were listed. And this particular conference, Betty, it will be more about results, delivery. What have counties delivered to the people on the ground? And one of the things that will be definitely out to be checked on is the health sector, which is fully devolved as of now, Betty. And we can say that devolution has delivered to some extent. In some counties, devolution is working. In some other counties, they're still trying to get the momentum so that they can be able to deliver. But just to quickly run you through the program, Betty, we expect to see the President launch the Kenya Urban Support Program as well as the Kenya Devolution Support Program. Well, these are integrated plans that are actually also spearheaded by the British government. That is one of the key players in this particular devolution conference. And governors will be actually keen to deliver for what they promise, because as we speak right now, basically, a number of governors have been on the spot for having grand projects. Some they've not been able to deliver. It will now be the monarchy on the ground will be holding the big stick and saying, what have you delivered for the people? What has changed? And why hasn't the county delivered as it was intended, Betty?
Right. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Sabi Agina there, speaking by your phone, joining us from Kakamega, just talking to us about the highlights really and what we're